welcome back to Young and Unscripted. I'm so excited for today's video because we're doing something a bit different. Usually I have on one guest and then we talk about their whole journey with their career. But today we're following along a bit on my journey, I guess, with two of my lovely friends who I'll get to introduce themselves in a minute. Because a month ago we were all in a play called Roots. Let's just start by you guys introducing yourselves and then we will get into it.
My name is Jafia. I was an actor in Roots and the producer as well.
My name is Benjamina, actor as well, and I produced Black Card.
Amazing. So yeah, let's talk about Theatre Peckham first. That's where we all started. We all joined their rep company in April?
March.
We joined in March and it was like a 5 months. My facts are wrong. We were in Theatre Peckham rep company for 5 months, and then at the end they told us that we had some money and that we could put on a show as a part of their Young, Gifted and Black season, and we were told we would be opening the season. Now at the start we were already apprehensive about what that would look like, what we would do with the money, and obviously we know we were so fortunate to be able to be given money and to be able to have a stage, because a lot of young artists who are trying to put on work don't have that platform, and it's really expensive to hire spaces. And obviously our rehearsal spaces, except for when we were going to other places, external venues, we got it for free. So yeah, we know that we were in a privileged position to have that, but again, there was like 18 of us at the start and we were like, how are we gonna put on a play? And then we kind of just started to split the things up and we went, okay, let's have producers, let's have actors. And that's really where you guys come in. So talk to me about that producing role when you first got assigned that role. What was that like for you?
I was like, it'll be easy peasy. I was like, 3 producers? A breeze, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, because also, disclaimer, it was called Roots, but it was 2 separate shows. It was a double bill. We had Black Card, which was written by Adiel, and we had The Rose that Grew, which was written by Lamide. And you were running Black Card.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, with 3 producers, it'll be fine. It'll be a breeze. But then when we got to it, I was like, damn, what did I sign up to? You know what I mean? But it was very rewarding in the end. Very challenging. It had its challenges, especially for Black Card. I won't lie. But yeah, we made it happen. We made it happen. Like,
definitely.
What did you think it was? Like, how was it for you?
I think because obviously I was like overseeing both of them with Ore, it was very much like I got to see kind of everything, and I've produced before, so it wasn't really like anything that I'm not used to. But for this one, it was just difficult because we had producing is about like a lot of like last minute decision making. And I think for what it was we didn't really have a lot of time, and I think if we had a lot more time we could have like structured it out a little bit more. And obviously we were dealing with we were all friends, so that kind of level of like friendship was there, but also the level of professionalism that we all had to keep as well. But I loved it. Like, I genuinely loved it. Like, I remember sitting down with Benjamina one day. I was like, I really love what I'm doing. Like, I could actually see myself producing for real, because I don't know what it was. Like, just the scheduling, the I like money as well. You know, who doesn't like money? I like money, so I like actually like dealing with like the budgeting side. You know, making sure everyone gets paid. Like, I remember me, Maya, and the set designer sat down and we were talking about like what kind of money we needed and stuff like that. And I was just like, I love it. Like, it was something that I think, definitely I loved it. Like, I genuinely think it was something that I really enjoyed, and I learned a lot as well.
I feel like the timing was probably our biggest enemy, because we finished in July, our rep company, and then we had a break though for the whole of July, didn't we? It was like in August where everything started to be spoken about. 'Cause bear in mind, even though we were acting and we were producing these plays, they weren't plays that were already written. They were being written as we were coming up with these ideas. We hadn't even really had themes yet, and we were like, how are they both going to connect? Like, we really were thinking of everything from the ground up. We were like, how can we make something and out of nothing? Yeah. So the timing, I think, for me felt the most stressful because it was like, we have 2 weeks and we've only got the script or whatever. So yeah, what do you think with the timing? What was your biggest challenge with that?
Having no time.
And me
but also working full time.
Yeah.
I'm like, Lord of mercy.
Yeah.
And like trying to get everyone's availability to like organize the rehearsal dates and all that stuff, and then like hiring rehearsal spaces, external ones like last minute. It was just, it was a lot. And then casting calls if like people are dropping out. Yeah. That was very like.
I think I remember
hard.
2 weeks in the space of 2 weeks, we had 2 people drop out. And then we had to do a casting call and cast within the same week.
And the rewrites of the script. And then having to learn the lines. I was like,
Yeah.
It was a lot. Because 2 separate plays as well. It was like, it wasn't just one play we were having to learn, it was 2. And we wanted to put it on. Obviously, we all
had that standard.
Had a standard. Yeah, we were like, we want to make sure that we're coming into the space and people are like, this is a professional production. We don't want it to just seem like, they've just put on a bit of fun. Like, we wanted it to seem like a really professional show.
I think it was.
Yeah, in the end it definitely was.
We won the BBC.
Yeah, we won the BBC. I mean, you guys were. Can you talk to me about the full-time job and doing it? Because I think a lot of people within the arts, they always struggle with like, do I just get a part-time job? Do I just do that 0-hour contract? Whereas like, actually, no, we also do need to earn money and we need to be able to sustain ourselves living in London. So yeah, could you talk to us a bit about that, how you balance that? Any advice you'd maybe give to aspiring creatives who are in that boat of like, what do I actually do? Because I need to make money, but I want to be a creative. And right now we're kind of at that position of that's not aligning. Making money as a creative is hard.
The stability is needed because like there's been many, many times I've been like, should I just quit my job? I'm like, if I quit my job, I'd be homeless. You know what I mean?
Don't you?
Yeah. So I need that stable income coming through. I've had my job for like 4 years. It's a blessing, I can't lie. Like when I first had it, I was like, I don't like this job. I'm like, the office, who wants that? That's not my passion, you know what I mean? But it's very flexible, I'd give it that. Like I was able to work compressed hours when I was doing rep. That means I was able to like shift my hours across the days to make it work for me type vibe. And yeah, like everyone's so like supporting. Like my managers are so lovely. I'm like, gosh, can't wait to see you on the big screen. I'm like, yeah, God willing, you know what I mean? But I feel like having a job that's quite flexible is quite beneficial.
Yeah.
And it made me have like a kind of seamless journey in like producing and acting and all that stuff. But yeah, it was very hard. It was trying, even with the compressed hours, like learning the lines, producing, and like acting as well. Like it was a lot. Like it was a lot. Yeah. Often there was times where I was working outside my working hours, like in the weekends or like the evenings. I'd be like, let me catch up so I don't get fired. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And bearing in mind we were finishing some rehearsals at 10 p.m. So like going home and having to
But I definitely think anyone. This is like get a job. Definitely get a job. I think you need not only to like have stability for yourself, but for your career as well.
Yeah.
Because to be in any kind of, whether you want to own a business, whether you want to do acting, whatever it is, you need money to invest in what you're going to do. Because there was times where, I remember the times where we had to use our own money to get snacks. And if we didn't have a job, how are you able to fund that?
Yeah.
Or like there's times where we had to use our own money to buy costume because we had to reimburse. So I always say to people, I don't care who you are, get a job.
Yeah.
Get a job.
But I guess it is the flexibility of it. Because I feel like with all of our jobs, it's quite flexible.
Because I was able to bring my work laptop to rehearsal.
Yeah, I mean, that was such a Benjamin move. Like, that became her staple. Like, she'd have her laptop there.
I'll have a
and we'd be
meeting.
like,
I'll just
like,
dip out
Sky
I'm going out real quick. I'm just going to have like a 10-minute meeting. I'll be back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'll come back.
Yeah.
But that's life, you know.
Yeah,
That's how you have to be until
until
we get to that point. What was your favourite part of the process?
doing the self-tapes, like reviewing the self-tapes.
Yeah,
That was fun.
actually, yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
Watching the tapes that was sent through. I'm like, oh, is this for the casting director to see? You know what I mean? Like in the first 30 seconds, they hooked them. Was it 10 seconds?
10 seconds.
Yeah, to hook them and stuff like
10
that.
seconds.
That was fun.
Yeah, actually, can you explain to the viewers, like, what did you find from that? Because obviously a lot of us, we're all actors sending in those self-tapes. So for people who were watching it, what stuck out to you? What was there anything that you thought, oh, actually, this could maybe change the way that I do self-tapes?
I feel like it's the bold choices and stuff. Like watching someone else do a tape, right? When you know the script and you know like the writer, like and how he wants it, you know what I mean? You're like watching, okay, I like the way you did that. Like, oh, this is different. Like I haven't seen it in like the first 4 or 5 tapes, you know what I mean? So that was like very insightful to see it on like the other end. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess for Black Card, obviously that was what our casting call was for. And as you said, like we all know Adiel and like what his vision was. So what was it that made you pick Elliot?
It was, you know, the quote where casting directors say in the first 5 minutes you know who you want. I think it was that.
Yeah.
Because I remember watching Elliot's tape and I said to everybody, this is our guy.
Yeah, I remember.
It made me realise that like you have to get them hooked. You have to get a casting director hooked within the first 5 seconds. Like you not necessarily need to make a bold choice, but like you need to understand what you're working with in a script.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you won't be able to make that bold choice that he did. Because I remember he improvised in his audition.
Did he?
It was like very personal.
It was a very
was
unique improvisation what he was doing.
Right.
And
Yeah, let's
that's why-
deep dive into that. What was at the beginning or like in the script? Like what?
No. It was beginning of the script. So I believe. Remember, I think the audition was the part where Isla May and Ray kissed. This is before all the changes happened in the script and stuff like that.
Isla May and Ray kiss.
No, it's
Monique and Zayn. That was it. Sorry, my bad. No, it was Monique. So Monique and Zayn kissed, yeah. And then Elliot was like, he said something along the lines of, oh, does this happen normally at the workplace and stuff like that?
Right.
And I saw that and I was like, this is our guy. Because he knew what he was
that's
doing.
Preston.
You know what I'm saying? He knew what he was doing. That was the character of Preston. He's very slick.
Yeah.
And it worked out in the end. Elliot was amazing.
Oh my gosh, Elliot was just incredible.
Yeah.
So I guess with producing then, what do you think were things that you had to pick up that you didn't necessarily think like at the start that was a producing role? Like what really made you think, oh, okay, I'm being a producer with this? Because I guess like when I hear producer, obviously I've only ever been a producer once, but I just think of like, okay, big boss, like overseeing everything. But then like the nitty gritties of like what you actually have to do, there's a lot. Like you guys were working overtime, like you were doing, you know, managing everything, managing everyone.
Ori was calling me like 500 times in a day.
Yeah,
Like,
the
I remember the
calls.
calls. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like she would call me, we would discuss something, I'd do something, she'll call me again, something's changed. I need to change it again.
Yeah.
So I think it's more like you have to be quick on your feet. Like you have to be very quick on your feet. Like for example, when we needed a stage manager, quickly Ori was like, let's look at someone at Theatre Peckham. I literally went up to Andrea and asked her, I was like, do you know anyone that could be a good stage manager? She referred me to Nikki, and then bish bash bosh, Bob's your uncle.
Yeah.
And then it's the same thing. It's like, it's a lot of just like, you have to be, I think you have to be in control. And I think the thing that I had to pick up was kind of putting my foot down and not being too nice. Because I remember the script rewrites, it was very,
Let's put that into perspective because they don't know. So we, so what was it? A month, right? We had a month. I think we had, for The Rose That Grew, we got sent the script, did a read through, and then I think we did, she did a few things. Because obviously, if you think in a normal setting, you would have, there would be so many rewrites. I mean, plays would be going under development for sometimes years, you know, like months 100%, but sometimes years. You're rewriting, you're getting other people seeing it, but because we only had a month to get everything together, you know, it's not always maybe going to be what you like 100% envisioned from the start. But again, like we're all on that process of like trying like to get it to its best kind of potential with that time constraint, which is why it was such a big thing. And then for Black Card, we maybe had like 5 rewrites or something. Like there was quite a few, like 4 or 5 or something. So I think in that capacity, like being adaptable is like a key skill I think all of us learn in that process.
Also putting your foot down is something that I had to learn as well. Because it got to a point where it was too like, you know the saying, you can't mix business and pleasure.
Yeah.
I had to learn that one very quickly as well, because there's times where I want to have fun, I want to mess around, but no, I need to work. Because
Yeah.
especially when Ori went on holiday, if things weren't getting done, it would have pushed everything back.
Yeah, and you became like the basically senior producer.
Yeah, and I became the
executive.
senior producer, executive, because it was a thing where that the set designer came and all of these different people came, and obviously she's on holiday, so I don't want to. I told her straight up, I was like, you're on the phone with me too much. Get off the phone and go and enjoy your holiday.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to take away the time that you've actually want to like just rest and relax.
Yeah.
But you know, like you said, we were friends, so it wasn't something where I could just like be on the phone to my friend for an hour when I know I've got all of these different things to do.
Yeah.
So it's like I had to learn like there's time for everything. You know, there's actually a time for everything, because there were times where we had to mess around, but we knew, like we specifically knew that if we messed around today, like we couldn't, everything would get pushed back.
Yeah.
You know? And also kind of giving that kind of grace on people coming in late, because there were people coming in late. But then I remember when we got the some of the spaces that we had to pay for, if people were coming in late, we had to pay more if we were going to stay more. So that's why we were just like, okay, guys. I think we all had like different assignments. I think I was like everyone's big brother. Like I was kind of like everyone's big brother trying to be there. But Jarina was like she was like the analytical person, and then Jazz, who's the other producer, she was very much like everyone's mum. So if someone was doing
Jazz
something
really
she
played
was like,
the mum.
yeah, she played the mum role.
Can you tell them to like?
Because everybody.
No,
listens to
but
her, yeah.
remember like the one time where we all went round Benjamina's and then Jazz got on the phone and she would like straighten us out. And I think as well, like sometimes it's nice to have those external people. Because I remember like when we were going through these like few days of having a bit of a rough patch, we came into rehearsals for Black Card, and we were with Elliot and Holly, and obviously they weren't involved with what was going on. So then once we got to rehearsals, they'd be like, we obviously always do check-ins, and Maya was like really good with like checking in with us and like how we were.
Maya was amazing.
She was great.
Shout out to Maya, man.
And she'd like check in with us, and then I just remember specifically this one day, like us just being like not feeling good, like just being like we're really demotivated. We were going on in like 5 days or whatever, and we were just like, we just don't know what we're doing. And then Holly and Elliot were like, we don't know what's happened, but we're really excited. We love everything about it, and like we love working with you guys. And I think that for me helped me to be like, oh, okay. We just had like a lot of things we were all saying, and it was all getting a lot. We cared so deeply for it as well, because we were like, not only is it us, it's Theatre Peckham, it's Rep, it's like all of these things. We were like, we want to just make sure it's our best thing. And because we cared so much about it, like we wanted to pour out everything into it and make sure we were all like, there was one time we had been at rehearsals pretty much all day, and then we all went back to Benjamina's and we were like, okay, how can we change this and do that? But actually in the end it's about it's too much, and like we were all trying to change too much, which then also doesn't serve the writer, because then we're stressing him out for no reason, because actually the reception of once we done the plays, like people loved it.
Yeah, my friends
never seen this concept.
And what his vision was, he wanted it to be Black Mirror, and every single person who came up to me said, this feels like Black Mirror. This feels like Black Mirror. This feels like Black Mirror. Yeah. And I was like, that's exactly what the writer wanted.
I think for me as well, like a massive learning thing that I learned was you remember the day where like once we did the show, and like the bad show that day.
The Friday.
Yeah. And also, I think that's also a really important thing to mention, that if you're doing theatre, it's live, right? Things go wrong. Or sometimes it's not even like the going wrong. It's just like moods, like atmosphere, audience. Audience are such a huge part of like how, you know, the actors can react and how like alive you feel. But anyway, we were doing like a double show, and like, was it the evening? It was the evening. The evening... It just didn't necessarily go how we thought it was going to go.
I thought it went well.
Thursday was my shambolic day.
I don't think we had any shambolic day.
I don't think it was shambolic.
Thursday was my personal shambolic.
I'm
being critical of myself.
But that's what I want to say, is that like every person in the space is going to feel differently. I remember after that Friday show, like I felt awful. Like,
we could tell.
yeah, like I was like, oh my gosh.
We could tell.
It was a
What
weird
is
energy.
going? Yeah.
But-
And like, but then for you were like, I remember you coming off being like, I did my thing. Like I was fine. Like I literally remember you being like that. You were like, I'm good.
Funny.
Like no, but you were, and I was just like, oh, okay. And then I remember like as well because during this show, basically, I messed up a line, and I was like, isn't that deep? But like in my head, I was like, like you know when you're just like, oh my gosh. And then I remember the next day being like, okay, Sienna, it's like actually not all on you. Like it's a company. It's this thing of like, again, holding each other. Like we're all there to hold each other. Like we're all there to like, if you feel like, okay, it wasn't your best show, but then if everybody else is doing their part, then your little one line you forgot, Sienna, like it's okay, you know?
And also, even Messi has a bad game. Like,
Yeah.
like, I always say this to people, even Messi and Ronaldo have bad games.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to get everything perfect. The biggest skill that I think I had to learn was just timekeeping. Genuinely timekeeping. Because, like I said again, if you're not doing what you need to do now and it gets pushed back, it's not necessarily, especially being a producer, it's not necessarily on you. Now, it pushes everybody back.
Yeah.
And now everyone's complaining because you didn't do that thing. Like, people think that, oh yeah, producer, big boy, but I think that's probably one of the toughest jobs out of all of them.
Oh my gosh, you guys were doing so much.
Yeah, there was so much sacrifice that we had to do as well.
Yeah.
There was so much sacrifice. Like, you sacrificed your sleep, and I know that's important to you.
I remember one rehearsal though when we were at TV and we were coming out and you were like, I'm tired, I'm hungry, I want to go.
She was angry.
Oh, I remember that
Yeah.
one. I was like, I'm going.
But we also were doing like rogue hours because everyone had lives, right? And because it was coming together so quickly. And also everything was changing so much that like, even if we had rehearsal schedules or whatever, they had to be like adapted or changed and things like that. So most of our rehearsals are like 5 p.m. to 10 p.m, which like is an insane time because like no one's producing their best work at like that time.
Come back from work.
Yeah, you've had a
So
full day at
tired,
work.
coming back
You're
from work.
trekking to wherever we're going. It's hard. It is hard, and I feel like it's important to talk about that as well because as amazing as it is when it's all like when after we finished we all felt so good. We all went to Prince of Peckham. Like it was such a fun time and like we were all just there.
That night, it was just electric.
That night was just
electric.
amazing.
But because I think it's because we all were like, it's
yeah,
done. We can just live our life.
No, but like, it felt good. And then we came to the stage, it was like,
and we were proud of it because no matter like the show, and I feel like it's with everything, like your stress or whatever, like we had really poured our heart and souls into it. So like by the end of it was just like, okay, like we shared that with audiences. People enjoyed it. The reception was great. You were on BBC.
We got a standing ovation on the Saturday, you know.
On the Saturday we did, yeah.
We got a standing ovation for the Saturday. Which is very
And I think that was really good as well because, obviously after the Friday night, which wasn't our best, and we kind of came in the Saturday and we were like, okay, last show, whatever we do, just give it your all. Like, that's it. Like, it could go so wrong, but, like, just give it your all. And it went well. Like, everything was great. And we did. We all just felt that, like, it was all worth something. Do you think you'll be going up to do something like that again? Or do you think Roots was a one and done sort of thing in terms of, like, creating everything from the ground?
I'm open to it.
I'm open to it.
Yeah.
I'm open to it, yeah.
With some time, you know?
Yeah, like give us like 4 months.
Yeah.
Like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
But I think it's good because we actually think about it. Like we paid 2 writers to come in. We paid a director to come in. We paid we did everything ourselves. There was no help from Theatre Peckham. They just gave us the tools and we just did it ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we should genuinely be proud of. Think about it.
Yeah.
At our age, who can wholeheartedly say, I've produced a show at Theatre Peckham that was on BBC that got 5 stars.
Yeah, let's talk about that. The
You know,
reviews,
5 stars, and we did it all ourselves.
Yeah.
There was no nothing.
Yeah, and I think it's a really important thing for young creatives, like people who want to be in this industry but don't really know how to break in. I think creating your own work, and everyone says it, right? Everyone says create your own work, break down those doors, and you're like, okay, cool, but where do I start? What do I do? And I guess for us, our way in was doing that rep company, because then for us we were like, okay, there's a group of creatives and there's so many different people in the rep company that do different things. Like Tate, he does like producing and all like the camera stuff, and like he's more on TV. So I think you start to build a network of people. Yeah, shout out Tate. But you build a network of people who are like-minded and want to do the same thing. I mean, as I said at the start, there was 18 of us, and at the end there was probably 12.
No, 11.
Yeah.
11.
Bearing in mind, some of those people weren't rep.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
2 weren't rep, so 11.
Yeah. So like you do, like obviously people have lives and things get on, people getting booked for other projects. So, you know, you have to be adaptable with that. But ultimately you are building a network of people that you want to work with and that like the same things and like the same theatre. And I feel like that's probably the most valuable thing we got out of rep. Like we worked with some amazing practitioners and learned so much, but actually, you know, it's that really big thing of like, you don't really learn until you do. And like, I think it's kind of that debate of like, or say at like uni and you're doing lectures and you're like, cool, yeah, like I'm learning all this information and that's great. But like until I'm actually in the job, like I can't put that work into practice. Like what am I going to do? And I think it's very similar to acting. It's like you're going to learn the most when you're on set. Like we learned so much just about the creative industry as a whole, which I think was so valuable to us because we can't really go in being like, we want to be an actor and only looking for it through like an actor's lens, because that's just not the way it is. Like it's a really collaborative thing, especially in theatre. It's so collaborative. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed Roots and I'm so grateful that we got to do it. And I think as well, something that I got told in summer, which wasn't actually to do with Roots, but I think it kind of applies, where it's like, I feel really privileged to be in that space with all of you guys. And, you know, like there's probably not going to be a time where every single person who was a part of Roots will be together again in a space. But we shared that for a month. It was intense. It was amazing as well though. Like it was a lot. Like we put our blood, sweat and tears into it, but we became a family. And you know, like sometimes when you're like watching like behind the scenes of like theatre shows or like TV shows, like they're always my favourite parts. I'm like, I will always immediately go and stalk the cast because I'm like, I love to see like what that relationship is like, because actually I think without us having the bond that we do, it would have been a lot of like a much different experience. And yeah, I'm grateful that we had each other and that we could hold each other and we had grace for each other. So yeah, I loved it. And I hope that we get to do something again. Like, yeah. Right, guys, I finish every single podcast episode with the same question. So I want to include you guys in that. What advice would you give to aspiring creatives? I think for this, it would be nice to tailor it to like someone who wants... No, but like someone who wants to create their own work. What advice would you give them? Ooh. Like they've been given... Okay, let's do it like as a scenario. They've been given some money, and someone's like, you have a month to put on a show, right? So they've been put in the same position as us.
So this is theatre?
It could be anything. Okay. What advice, knowing what we know, what advice would you pass on to them?
The moment you know you've been given money to do something, like start. Like be on job and start planning.
And what would that, but where does planning start? What do you do?
So like brainstorming ideas, so like what you want to do, what you want to put on, reaching out to your network, so like, you know, seeing fellow artists who be good on the project, and then like doing availability, and then just like, you know, like the pre-production stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah, just like make a start quick. Yeah.
Jafia?
I second that. Don't waste your time. And I also think don't be scared as well, because I think we were all going in this scared, and don't be scared. Just whatever resources you have, utilize it, and you will make something, and something will be special if you put your heart into it. I think that's the best advice that I can possibly give. Don't think about the money or the other possibilities that will come. Just focus on creating magic on stage, and I think that kind of story or that kind of whatever you're creating on stage will tell itself towards the world, and you will be seen. as long as you have that mindset, that thing in your brain of just dreaming big and just knowing what you're doing isn't necessarily for anything but because you love it. So I would say the biggest thing is just don't be afraid. Just go for it.
And be a bit deluded.
Yeah,
be a bit deluded. Live in the
delusion.
Yeah.
Because we were told, because we were told, I remember being told by certain people that this would never work and that we would have to quit. And then once we were on BBC, they're the same people that turn around and be like, "You're such a king, bro. Like, that was so amazing."
Such a king.
Yeah, I was like, well, when you were saying that it would never work, look at you now. Yeah. You know? And let's be real, with the state of the industry where it's at right now, people are just how you have to make your own work if you want to make money, especially if you love it. So, you know, when they were like, yeah, it's not going to work and stuff like that, you should just quit and stuff like that. And look at me now, I'm on a podcast. How about that?
Living young and unscripted.
I'm young and unscripted now. How about that? You know?
Yeah, I think for me, it's like similar to what you guys said about like, just do it. Like something will happen. Just do it. And I think as much as we can like sit here and be like, do this, do that, do this. Ultimately, that was like our first time doing something like that. So we don't have all of the answers. So I think my main thing for all of you guys is trust the process. Because I think this year, especially for me, like I've had, I guess, 2 situations where I was supposed to put on a show, one being Roots and we put it on. And then I did another thing, which actually never happened. Like we put it in, but it never happened. And I learned so much. I probably learned equally as much from the show that didn't happen to Roots. Like I learned the same amount. And I think that you have to just trust the process, and everyone's journey is going to be different, and never take something not working as a failure, because I feel so much more equipped to deal with things now because I went through it in a previous production. So yeah, I don't necessarily want to sit here and be like, do this, this, and this, and this, because I don't have all the answers. But the one thing that I can promise you is that trust the process, because you will learn something. You will learn along the way. You're a creative, like what Jaffia said, like what you put on stage is going to be beautiful. Like it's going to be amazing because it's you and you're going to shine in it. But yeah, trust it, see what happens. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, you learn something for next time. So yeah. And I'm really, really glad that we got to do this episode, because, you know, like when we started Young and Unscripted, we wanted to bring you guys along with us on our journeys. And obviously the creative industry being what it is, we got to a point where we were like, we're not working. Like we don't have anything to say. And obviously then we started bringing in guests and all these amazing people so that you can get insights from people who are doing things, who are working when we're not. But I'm fortunate that this like Roots was a thing where, you know, we did get paid and we did work, and it was a professional production. So I'm glad that it's a win, you know, like we're working and it's all working. I'm glad that we got to bring you guys along with us. So I think that is it for this week's episode. Thank you so much, Jaffia and Mina, for being in the space with me.
And
for being such amazing producers as well, because you really did hold the fort down. So thank you.
Thank you.
And we will see you all next week on Young and Unscripted. Bye.